I'm back in Paraiso, and you know, I like this place and I like the places around it even more. I was just thinking on the way here, because the trip now between Cartago and Paraiso, I like know where every store is going to be. I was just thinking that 2 years ago I wouldn't even know where Paraiso was. 2 years ago I was just starting to think about Costa Rica, and now this is like the back of my hand. We have a great view down there. We've been to those mountains before. Those are the mountains in Orosi. And whenever I see things like that, I'm always like, okay, that's the wall. That's what I can't go beyond. But a year ago, when I first visited a place like this, the idea that I could walk to Unreachable would have been impossible. So maybe someday I'll walk up into those mountains, but not today. I have other plans for today. So this is the old road out of town. That's actually its name. And this is the same route I took. It was way back in December when I went to Ujarrás. And no reason to be coy about it. That's where I'm going today. But today I might see different things. It's also a pretty hot day, but at least here in Paraiso, not terribly hot, like somewhere between warm and hot. And I did bring a lot of water. I brought my full backpack today, not my shoulder bag, and I have 2 liters of water in there. Here's the road we're turning around, just like we did back in December, less than 3 months ago. The reason I was thinking about it being 3 months ago, and it's kind of a hallmark holiday, and you know, indulge me in this, is when I was here last time, I still think of that as kind of the beginning of my trip, and really wasn't to the point where I was like, F it, let's go, let's see what's going on here. And I was kind of trying to place in my mind where in this trip I kind of reached the halfway point where everything clicked, and I felt really self-confident about going places. Of course, all of this trip I felt more confident than last time. But really I'm like looking at like probably Valle de Coris, that trip, which was very long and had to involve some thinking and some decisions and some risks. That was really the halfway point, and since then it's just been really, you know, almost automatic to go out. I think it was about that point, but like there was certainly something between Ujarrás and Valle de Coris that really changed kind of my attitude. Maybe it was Jaco, I don't know, maybe it was Cote, but I think it really was that January 2nd walk. I guess this counts as out of town. Interesting looking cattle. And just continuing down this road, and then at some point close to here we will take the side road from the side road, and then after that we will take the side road of the side road of the side road, or something. A very peaceful walk. Pretty soon I have to stop and get some hydration. Luckily I have all that water, but otherwise nice peaceful walk. As I walk downward, and as you know, the day gets later, it is going to get hotter. These are common. I don't know if that's a fig, but those look like fig leaves. These are common trees, and of course when I see them at first I think, oh yeah, that looks like a familiar maple. Of course they're not maples. And I also see the leaves are drooping. Well, maybe it's getting a little bit too hot for them, which would be very too much hot for maple trees. Another great view here. And I think I showed this same view last time. You can see down to Orosi there. ¿Quién es mi perro bueno? ¿Quién es mi perro hermoso? Sí, muy bueno, muy bueno. Okay, this is the road I went down last time, and I'm going down it again. Good thing about this walk is that because I've done this before, I know where it's going, and I'm not like in that state of subtle anxiety of like, am I doing something dumb? But it's still new enough that it is, you know, pretty stimulating and interesting, because, you know, the first time I went through, I was just the first time, and now I can kind of stop and appreciate things more. I think also last time it might have already been getting cloudy or misty, so I could not see this great view last time. That's nice. Oh, there's actually a tractor over there. That's interesting. Then below you can see, I think, part of the river and the reservoir. Okay, well, I have some benches here, so to speak, and some shade. So I'm going to stop and drink some water before I forget to do that, which can be a problem. If I wait too long, I will end up getting very thirsty. Looks like we'll have at least a little bit of shade along here and also a breeze. So that's making the walk a little bit easier. Actually, the second car just passed me walking down this part of the road. And I assume that maybe it's more busy now because we're in the dry season. And when I went on this walk back in December, I said, this road's probably easier in the dry season. So it's kind of a semi-seasonal road, I guess. I can't say exactly why, but for some reason doing this walk, kind of had a recollection of when me and my sister and my niece all went to Lost Horse, which I guess was only like 8 months ago, something like that. Yeah, maybe because it's a hot day, or maybe it's just that certain feeling. I was meditating last night. Meditate every day. Not very good at it, but sometimes when I'm meditating, I do have like little flashes of inspiration. One of the things I thought about is that I am not my connections, because my mind focuses a lot on making connections. It's always been this way, even before we had the internet and all of that. I would connect things together. I'd even make little charts of how things were connected. Okay, in prelude to this story, last night I thought my flip phone, which has served me so well for so long, was broken. I did figure out how to fix it by taking the battery out and putting it back in. Now it works again. But I was feeling bad because, like, I do sometimes take pictures on that flip phone, and I was like, oh no, this is lost. And to me, having connections is so important. And I have to remember that those connections connect things, but they are not the things. And why that is relevant to this walk is, as I'm walking down this road, well, you've seen everything I've done, and that this road is connected for, in my mind, everywhere from Turrialba to Alajuela, then up to, north up to Vasquez de Coronado, south to Astori. It's all part of the connection. So this place is connected to all those places. And whether that accents the experience and makes it more real, or whether I just see this as a link in a chain, that's a good question. Would I have a better experience if I was just dropped here and had no idea where I was? Well, that's a question, and that's the type of questions I ask myself when I go on walks like this. I hope they aren't hoping for anything from me. The road splits here. Last time I went down this way, and today, if possible, I'm going to go down this way. Now there's a truck there, and I hope this isn't just somebody's driveway. But I looked on Google Maps before I came, and this does connect to some type of road. So I'm going to see if this is possible. If it isn't, then I will turn around and go that way. Okay, sure. Why not? And if I didn't know how the other road turned out, I would assume this was the wrong road. But I know that road practically disappears too. Okay, this road, I don't know, this road might really disappear. Well, and I can always turn around and take the other one. Let's see where this goes just a little bit longer. So I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to turn around, go back to where the road split. Let's see what that does. Okay, so we're going to continue this way. And this might not even be the real split. The real split might be after this. I guess I'll find out. One thing is because it's a hotter day, just a little bit of elevation gain can take a lot from me. Okay, well, I've made a mistake before, but this time this road appears to be a continuation of the road, and that is the road I took last time. Okay, so I am going to continue down this road. Hope I don't make the same mistake. And if I do, yeah, I'm tired, but yeah, that's... Okay, that kind of scared me. We talked about those last time. There's some type of drainage sumps here. Okay, so I'm going to continue on this road. Hopefully don't get eaten by a drainage pipe. So this road seems to continue, and in the distance, you can see Cachi. Now, I think that has to be K'chi. It couldn't be anything else. And it actually even has the layout of K'chi. We also have some combination of breeze and shade off and on. Works for me. Not perfect, but it works for me. I wish I could show more of the hills. The truth is, you only see them through the trees. But maybe that makes my metaphor better. Oh, look at that. So you can see the nearer thing, and then you can see the hills in the distance. This is going to be pretty long. I have differences with Martin Heidegger. I've talked about those in previous videos, and I especially have differences with Martin Heidegger now. But I do see the point, and maybe I've kind of translated things into my own terms and changed the focus. But what the thing is you have being, and being is everything. Being is too big to talk about. And then you have humans like me. And in a way, we are kind of a clearing in being. We are what being allows to be known. And one of the reasons for that is we are limited. We are like a clearing. And then there's that gigantic, big, static fact of being that we can never really reach or touch out in the distance. It gets hazy after a while. And especially for me, I grew up in Battleground, and some of my earliest memories, like when I was 2, 3, 4, before my parents were divorced, was that going on trips up into the hills, and those hills just seemed to be in the focal length of a 3-year-old, so far away and so gigantic. And, you know, you think of your own, you know, weakness and smallness and changeability as a child. There seems to be this thing called static reality, being. And you think you can reach out and touch it and know what it is. And so as you get older, you want to make contact with it, and you start having the ability to do so. Because you can take walks around town to the next town, you can go to a park, go on a hike, you can move to a foreign country, walk across the mountains. And all that time you're trying to recontact that thing called being. But the anxieties and the limits are inside of you. A fundamental incompleteness at the center of our being, I don't know how Hideaki put it. And you can't escape that. And you keep on thinking, oh, there's something that is big enough and true enough and real enough. And once I reach there, I'll know. But when you get to that, you know, and I have climbed a lot of these hills now. Maybe there is something beyond my limits, but I've climbed a lot of them. And, you know, when I talk about my limits, that's not in a self-deprecating way. That's part of being a human. I bring those with me, and so I never really get to contact with the thing I'm looking for, true being. And then you can even take that in a Graphian fashion that we're trying to, like, return to, like, the completeness of, you know, being totally cared for by our parents and stuff. And then that relates back to Martin Heidegger's support of fascism. Is this seeking for true being, seeking for a place where you don't have to ask questions or feel insecure and feel incomplete because you have an authoritarian parent figure to take care of you? And these are the things I ask on my walk as I take off my sunglasses like I was Gundo Ikari. Also, wow, I have some shade here. And then, in a more prosaic manner, it looks like this road is going to continue. Continue where? I don't know, but it is going to continue. The road has taken a couple of zigs and zags. That's what I expect the road to do. And I don't know how long it is to Ujarrás, but it can't be that far. Like you can see where we are. Well, it kind of rhymed, didn't it? I hope this doesn't sound too silly to say, but one of the greatest weeks of my life, and I'm 45 now, I don't know if I'll have a better week than this. It wasn't even a full week, it was Monday to Friday. When I was 13, I just turned 14, my school took a trip down to Ashland to go to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Ashland and the OSF are both great. And, oh, look at turkey vultures. It's always an encouraging sign. And I talked about this actually in a previous video on Picayas, where I talked about, like, you know, being in the Willamette Valley. I was kind of isolated, spent a couple years not going to normal schools, bouncing around. In fact, this wasn't a normal school, this was still an experimental school. That's why we were going on a camping trip in Ashland. And I really started thinking about this a couple years ago. A woman I met online told me about Cheryl Strayed's book, where she walks the Pacific Coast Trail, and she also incidentally goes to Ashland in a much different fashion than I did. And I was just thinking about, like, you know, this relates to the last major philosophical point, the feeling, you know, as you're a teenager and you're clunky and insecure, and that kind of builds on just the basic incompleteness, and you're kind of waiting and waiting, and Tom Petty wrote a song about it, every day gaining one more yard. And all through that year, when I was really socially awkward, trying to make friends, every day I was trying to see, what will be my next step? How will I make friends? And did this road just come to an end? I really hope not. But look down at that view. Look down at that view. I think this actually looks like a path through. I'm just gonna keep walking. Let's see what happens. And maybe this is actually gonna help me make my point, because, you know, I was going through that trouble in adolescence, and, you know, you have the thing, every day you're gaining one more yard, you're learning how to be an adult, and you think you're going to reach something, and then you have that breakthrough moment where you feel excited and completed, and like you're breaking through the next step. And if you've ever been to Ashland, which is a nice place, and you've ever been to the Shakespeare Festival and all that stuff near there, might make a lot more sense why I'm talking about that. Like, you really feel you've broken through into somewhere. You know, and today I was in paradise. Ashland is a type of paradise. And I'm hoping for a breakthrough now. And that's what that book really reminded me of, even though my problem was that book. And when I go out for a walk like this, I always think, will this be the day where I will find that same feeling I had when I was an adolescent? I finally felt like, oh yeah, I am part of things. This is real. I am finally getting it. Will this be the place where I finally break through to a beautiful vantage point? Looks like it is. Also, I'm scared. A little bit of vertigo here. Don't know if that's a philosophical point or not. Oh boy. Fuck. Well, I guess this is something. Okay, so there's pumas and not fires, but this looks like a road. Did I just take a wrong turn? I was supposed to keep on this road? I don't know. All I know is I'm not in imminent danger right here, even if I'm somewhere I shouldn't be. I'm in a coffee plantation. So after a couple of minutes where I felt not very peaceful, I now feel peaceful again. Well, it looks like I'm behind a barbed wire fence. That's not where I want to be. Okay, there's exit. Good thing I didn't try to climb the fence and get myself scratched to hell. You don't know what happened there. I'll have to look at the map when I get back home. Interesting thing, my cached Google Maps, because my phone doesn't have data, cuts out in Paraiso. And it actually cuts out just at the first line where I first made the first wrong turn. And past that, it has just large-scale maps. And so I don't know where I am right now, and that's a lot of fun, actually, because usually I know too much. We live in a data-saturated world. Kind of relates to the first point about connections. So I do have to admit, even though all these seem like random thoughts, I do kind of have an outline in my head, and I did plan to kind of put all these things together into kind of like a philosophical essay, as well as just a description of what it feels to be like walking down the road. I think this is pretty close to Ujarrás. I think I'm pretty close to the ruins. The one thing about getting lost here is it's kind of limited because the hills are in a really obvious position, and I've been here before, and I know where I am in position in relation to those hills. Kind of like the Silver Chair, very nice lady rode by on horseback and gave me directions. Unlike the Silver Chair, I don't think I'm going to go to an underground enchanted kingdom. I hope. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. I think that might be the road I came out of last time. That makes the most sense. Which means this is the direction to the ruins. Probably sit down there for a while, rehydrate and cool off. I'm also thinking of 6 years ago when I was in Curacaví, west of Santiago, and at the time, the big new song was Nas X's Old Town Road. Certainly, being here reminds me of that time and that song. Yep, there it is. Well, hopefully the facility is open. Now I'm at the Ruins of Ujarrás. Beautiful place, spacious, clean, and shaded and breezy, which is really important to me right now. Also, it's about 3:15 right now. I think I was in Paraiso at 1:45. So this entire adventure, it's just 90 minutes. I could be at home watching YouTube videos and hitting refresh on Reddit, but no, I am here. Nice thing in Santiago, it's also true here. We have these type of picnic tables. We also have shade and breeze, and it's really cool here, so I am going to kind of sit down and collect myself. I also wish I had data. I wish I could share this moment with my friends. There that is again. Needing connections, but I'm not the connections. I wish I could show this to Couscous. That was the ruins of Ujarrás. Spent about a half hour here, mostly just sitting down, enjoying the breeze. Last time I did this walk, it started raining. I couldn't do a lot, and today it's the opposite problem. But there is actually things I want to see in the Ujarrás area, and I will see if I will see them once I leave here and then go back walking on the country roads. So last time I went that way. Today I think I'm going this way. I am going this way. Let's see how far I will go this way. Important point to make here. We have cabins here. We have a restaurant here. So this area in all of Cartago, you do get some tourism, but nothing like what you get in Jaco. And that's kind of like a contradiction, even gets to like a Kantian point. I would like a lot more people to come, go to Costa Rica to see Cartago, but if too many do it, it won't be very fun here. But if you do want a more unique tourist experience, Cartago's a really nice place. I really like my Sony. It can do so much. But one thing it can't do is record the smell of this irrigation water falling onto the road. You get that petrichor of a sort. It's very nice. It's very pleasant to be here right now. Looks like this paved road might be ending, and it almost looks like we're going into like a little lollipop, like this might twist around. I guess I'll just go straight. Presumably if I zoom in that way, that's probably Santiago, where I was just 7 days ago. Wow. But it's so weird because like distances are different than what you think they are here in elevations. It is this weird little garden path of these gravel roads through this area. That's why I like it. Is this still the road? I have no reason to think no. I can turn around at any time. So I'm just going to keep walking. It's actually cooled down considerably as long as I can get back to the main bus stop before it gets dark. No reason to not walk. So that's just finca. There, that's just a finca. And for whatever reason, I'm reminded of like when I reached the end of the road on Keegar Island. And much like on Keegar Island, what I'm looking for here is actually, is there access to the Orosi River? And there might be somewhere down here. I don't know if this is like an industrial agricultural farm or if this is a country road. I'll walk for a while, then I'll walk back. I'm gonna walk back and then take a left in town. This looks like the road in the town, whatever those terms mean. That looks like a dog. I know what that means. Dog means good. So let's see what's down this way. That road might lead back to the main road. This is the road I came in on. And I'm going to follow for a while and see if there's one more turn I can take. I don't really have a big hurry. At a certain point, I went to the left here. I'm going to walk this way. No reason not to. But this probably will be the last side. So I talked to an old man on a bicycle, and he told me there really isn't any easy access to the river or the lake. In that case, time to return. Take a bus back to Cartago. Also, you can see that sun's getting a little bit lower, and I've been doing a lot of stuff today, so I'll call this mission accomplished. That road, as far as I can tell, is just like a little cul-de-sac and appendix. It actually leads to like a little town or settlement down there, but I don't know how actually you get out of it. And I've been here before when I went to, this is the main road I took. Maybe that's the other side of the triangle I would have come out at. It's all a little bit confusing. It's like when you're, again, I'm going to go back to being a kid and getting driven to your grandparents' house and you don't really know how that relates to your own house. It's like just magically transport somewhere. As you get older, you start to see the world as a Cartesian plane. That made Heidegger so mad and so upset. I remember this last time. Do I want to? No, I don't want to now. You might want to. If you visit, you might want to go and walk down and sit by the river. Had a long day. I don't want to trip and hurt myself. You know, he who knows his limits has none. It's kind of becoming a moment I put in each one of my videos, but see this? You know, the day's had its twists and turns, quite literally, but all of this is worth it. So this road seems a little bit longer than when I traveled down it last, but I think that's actually where I will find the bus stop to go back to Paraiso or Cartago. Well, I'm back on the main road. which, as I mentioned in the last video, is not my favorite place to be. So I'm just going to walk to the next stop, and then I'm going to wait. I might be more tired than I think I am, and I think I'm tired. Who is a good little tuxedo kitty? Yes. Okay, we have a Ferrari que yo no tengo razones para caminar más atrás de este punto. Okay, apparently we're going down the road I came from, but bus driver said Cartago. We're going to Cartago eventually. All roads lead to Cartago. Okay, now we're going back in the direction towards Cachi, but actually to Cartago. We might go through Piedra Azul and Santiago. I don't know, this is kind of fun. Well, this road is doing something awesome. How awesome? I guess we'll find out. Fuck. From an infrastructure point of view, this is not the bestest. There's quite a bit of up and down and back and forth here. Kind of lost, but I'm just along for the ride. And this is going through, I believe, Piedra Azul, Blue Rock. Don't know why it's called Blue Rock. Different than what I expected. Actually, I was a little bit confused. We already went through Blue Rock. This is actually Santiago, where we were last week. And I like it, so it's nice to be back. This shouldn't make me nervous, but I guess I'm just used to it by now. So I'm back in Cervantes. I was not expecting be in Cervantes today. I don't object to being in Cervantes. Cervantes is not the quickest way to go from Cachi to Paraiso, but here I am, and yeah, like I said, no objections. Just an interesting little detour. Going through Paraiso. We should be back in Cartago pretty soon. It's getting close to dark. It can go dark quickly, so it might be dark by the time we get to Cartago. So we are in Cartago, and it is getting dark, and kind of slowly going through traffic to get to Cartago Central. So back in Cartago, the ruins are lit up. We aren't in ordinary time. And speaking of time, this video might have been a little bit disjointed, but that's kind of to show what it's like and what I like about being here. Yeah, one day, you know, 1 minute I'm walking along the road and then somehow I get transported. I'm like literally walking through somebody's coffee field. And there was like a lot of literal twists and turns, and I hope they gave a picture of what it's like to be in the small mountain towns. And yeah, I will miss this blur when it's gone, but for now, to go this way because I'm going to try to see if there's a train to catch.